Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Fearless Generations with Terry Sayer and Kelly Fox.
Hello and welcome to Fearless Generations, 12 Steps to Freedom. I am Kelly Fox, and we are here talking Step 6, which is present moment. And tonight we are focusing on intuition. So super excited to get this conversation going. Let me please introduce my beautiful co-host, Terry Sayer. How are you doing tonight, Terry?
Well, I'm happy to be here and look forward to our conversation continuing about present moment. It's just keeps coming up in everything that every time I'm talking to somebody, it seems to come up how important it is to be in the present moment. So I'm looking forward to our discussion with our guests.
Yes, it seems to do that, doesn't it? It just, when the new step comes around, everything starts to center in on that step. And it's crazy how it happens, but it does every time. Yes, and our guest, I'm super excited to introduce our guest tonight. This is her first time on the show, and I'm excited to get the conversation going with her as well. So please welcome Jessica Hammock.
Hello. I'm so excited to be here.
Hi. We are so excited to have you. So, Jessica, please tell the audience, what is it you get to do and who is it you get to serve?
Well, I get to do two things. One is I get to work as the Director of Behavioral and Mental Health for a charter school system, helping teens, youth, kids, and teachers, administrators navigate mental health and trauma in the classroom. And I work as a trauma specialist who works with women on their identity, doing some identity coaching as well.
I know. I remember when we talked to, pick the night that you were coming and what you wanted to talk about, and just in awe of everything that you do and just the necessity of it.
Yes. It's definitely in a lot of conversations nowadays.
Yes. Yes. And we are big supporters of more resources going to mental health. So, what you do is so needed everywhere. And even more with kids, I think, since the pandemic.
Oh, definitely. We've seen a huge rise in it, and I'm all about equipping them and equipping the adults that work with them.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. So, talking about present moment, what does that mean to you?
I think a lot of what it says, I work with a lot of trauma survivors, and it's easy to get fixated on certain points in our timeline. So present moment really is about navigating where you're at emotionally, mentally, physically, and spiritually in the actual present of the timeline of your life where you're at now, but being present with all parts of you, not just your body.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think I've had anyone explain present moment like that. It's so good.
Well, we get stuck in other timelines, oftentimes trying to replay the past or worry about the future, and we lose out on what's in the present moment. And even, our bodies can still be present, but it's sending signals to us because of past programs or anticipation, like we live in sometimes hypervigilance of worrying about what's coming in the future. So being fully present in the moment for some people really is a skill that they have to develop. For a lot of people, whether they've had significant trauma or not, tend to navigate just going through the motions and not allowing their senses to fully experience the present.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I find myself daydreaming all the time.
I was teaching a class Sunday with some people. It's called the emotional resilience, and we were talking about stress and anxiety, and just trying to because in this class you've got people that have worked on their fears and really have some good strategies, all the way to people who have never even thought of mindfulness. So you've got a wide range of people who understand what stress and anxiety are, what might be the causes of stress and anxiety, and what might be strategies to deal with it. And as we were having the conversations, it was present moment was a part of, being in the present and focusing on your senses and really being present, being in the moment. And it was really interesting. I did a very short guided meditation with them, and it was like this one gal, and I mean, she's in her 60s, and she said, "Oh my gosh, I wish I had ever understood the magic of focusing on my breath." This is a totally new thing to her, to breathe and to pay attention to her breath and just be in that space. And it was quite magical for her, and really helped her to see that would be a strategy she could use, when she starts to feel the stress and anxiety. And so much of that stress and anxiety comes from living in the history of our past and bringing those feelings to the present moment, or the concern about the future and bringing that into the present moment, which then affects your capacity to navigate what you have control over, right? And so it was really fascinating to me to be able to just be an observer, because I facilitate the class, observe and be aware of where these individuals are in different places, and to see how supportive they were of each other, and defining how stress is oftentimes dependent on not being aware of what's going on in the moment. And like one of the guys said, it's really important, and I agreed with him, that we honor the past, that we honor the things that we've learned from the past, but we don't dwell in the past. And that was helpful, I think, to some of the people that had not had that experience of really thinking about that, like it was a new idea, And so it was very empowering to me to be able to observe that and validate my understanding of how important it is to be present in order to receive that intuition and that, capacity to navigate the present moment. So it was really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, you brought up something that's really important too, is it's not about just being in the present, but like, how do you want to be in the present? That you talked about the power of the breath and breathing, just that awareness, it calms the body down. It can calm the mind down and all those pieces. So it's not just physically being here, but how do you want to be here? Anchoring in all the senses to get the full experience of it. It's not just showing up and saying, okay, I'm here, but how do you want to be here? Because that's ultimately what can rewire brain pathways and anchor in new and safe experiences, so that when we talk about being present, people are more likely to be like, oh, yeah, that's an enjoyable thing, and I can do that safely, and I want to experience more of it.
Yeah, because when you can think of using your five senses, and then tonight we're talking about intuition, which is that sixth sense, right? And, how do we utilize that to be even more aware and more open to possibilities, in our choice points, because that's where we make those choices, is in the present. We make those moment by moment, right? And, using all five of our senses, as well as that sixth sense of intuition or inspiration or revelation or epiphany, whatever you want to call it, how we can be aware of those, I like to call them hits, that we get. For me, it comes from the spirit, it's those intuitive hits that allow us to if we're willing to listen and be aware, to then take action around, which will help us to be even more. To me, it's just to be more aware of the service we can give, the help, because I'll get intuitive hits, call that person, do that, be aware of that, and if I follow through on those intuitive hits, then my passion, which is to teach and serve, is magnified. The way I like to think of those intuitive hits.
Mm-hmm. And Jessica, how do you feel like present moment and intuition plays into how you support yourself and your clients?
Well, I think it's, like Terry said, first of all, it's honoring the intuition. One of the things I noticed working with a lot of trauma survivors is a constant flip back and forth of honoring the intuition for safety, for emotional safety, for physical safety, and allowing yourself to recognize that intuition piece, no matter how you believe you got it, like if it's spirit-led or whatever, comes from a place of protection for you, and that it's okay to honor that, to stay in the present, but that it's not always from a place of like, I don't know, when I think of it and how I think of it with some clients, it's almost like I got to do this thing because like the bear is chasing me and just to survive. But we want to get to a place of being able to be in the present moment where we're calm and relaxed and safe and still feel that feeling and know that it's okay to honor it then as well. And it can become more enjoyable and not necessarily more productive, but productive for a different way in us, and trusting that it's there for our protection, like in a survival state, but also for our enjoyment, our connection. Like you said, getting that intuition to reach out to someone in the present moment and not ignoring that. But that may not come from a place of survival. It may come from a place of actually thriving and being able to recognize like who you are as a person and how you're designed to navigate this life, and acknowledging that and celebrating that.
Yeah. Awesome. So do you have a tool that you share with your clients, something that you can share with our audience?
Yeah, so I typically encourage clients that it's really important to move the energy of everything that's not needed for the present out. And a lot of people get stuck in, how do I like get my head to stop spinning, or get my body to calm down, or be able to acknowledge my heart and what it really needs to say. And so I'm like, we've got to move this energy that's in the way, these thoughts, emotions, feelings, intensities out of the way first. And so I tell them it's 3 parts. It's writing it out. So there's very specific science behind when you write something out, the emotion intensity attached to it. So writing it out, everything in your mind, the good, bad, and the ugly, get it all out of your mind. And then, of course, don't keep that. So tear it up, throw it away. It's not in it. Actually, don't put it in a journal. Put it in something disposable. And then the second thing is talking it out. There's energy and intention when we talk something out. Our brain actually doesn't know the difference, and so our heart believes it said the thing it needed to say. Whether that's like, so say you are angry or upset at a person, and it's not helpful to have a conflict resolution conversation with them, I say take out your phone and your voice memos on your phone and record everything you need to say, the good, bad, and the ugly of it, because it's out of you, and your brain and heart believe you've had the conversation with the person. So once you get it out, then delete it. You don't need to keep it. And then the third thing is moving your body physically to release what's being held in the body that's preventing you from being calm and in the present. So moving your body, it could be walking, it could be running, dancing, being silly, it could be somatic exercises. But that 3-part of releasing the words, the thoughts, the feelings, and the energy in your body allow you to become fully present, to be able to kind of hear what the intuitive piece is that needs to come through.
Yeah, I love that. I've definitely done all 3 of those. I don't know if I've done them all 3 for one thing, but I've definitely I've definitely done all three of those. I think moving the energy is so important. I think that when the energy gets stuck, we attach so much stuff to it, and it just gets heavier and heavier. And when we can release the stories and the judgment, around the story, then the energy is able to move through us, and we're able to release it. So going back to intuition, what does intuition mean to you? How do you use intuition with your clients?
For me, it's a prayer practice, I guess you would say, is being willing to ask the question and listen for the answer internally, and not second guessing or doubting that the answer was designed for me in that moment. My clients, whether prayer is an important component for them in their life, sometimes it's just being willing to ask the question. And the process sometimes for them is they have to sort through what the voice or words or feelings sounds like. So everybody gets it a little differently. Some have a feeling, some have a knowing, some have audible conversations, so it's kind of navigating what does their internal intuition sound like. For me, I typically tend to either get feelings and or I hear words. And usually if I hear words, it's because I've argued with a feeling.
Yeah. I hear you on that.
I think it's like, wait, no, this is not, But one thing I've noticed for me in terms of intuition is like when I've gotten feelings, what I've had to learn is to ask the question, like, is this mine? Is this somebody else's? And if it's somebody else's feeling that I'm intuitively feeling, what is my responsibility in it? Am I supposed to act on it? Am I supposed to support? Is it for me to know for a warning perspective, like to be aware of the shift in the room or the shift in the environment? Or am I supposed to act on this to support in some way, to encourage, to help them navigate a healing process? Like, what is the purpose of me intuitively feeling what somebody else is feeling? And I think that has been a bigger help to me to begin to ask questions of it and not just absorb that something is bad or wrong about me because I have a feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I think I can easily take on other people's energy, and it was a while before I could detach myself from that, especially with friends. They'd call me up, tell me about something that's going on with them. We get off the phone, they're feeling better because, they released all of this, angst that they were feeling or whatever. And I get off the phone feeling like crap because I took it all on,
Yeah.
So, it was a process of learning how to, ask myself, is this mine or is this theirs? And releasing what wasn't mine.
Right.
Yeah. That's a big skill as well.
Yeah. And a lot of people coming out of trauma or having navigated really difficult situations have actually learned how to navigate every move that they make because of safety. So if individuals had experienced a lot of trauma in the past, whether as a child or an adult, they use that as a coping skill for survival. But it is learning to use that from a place of safety that I think is a really big deal, that present moment, like, where am I now? This is not something that even if I give awareness to, that it is my responsibility to change myself just because I have an awareness of it. And I think that seems to come up a lot, especially for women, It's like I have an awareness of it. Now it becomes my responsibility to do something about it, as opposed to stopping and asking questions like, what is my purpose in this awareness? Am I aware of it because previous trauma patterns, or am I aware of it because, like Terry mentioned, she has the gift to teach and serve and things like that. Am I aware of it because I have a gift and it's my purpose in this moment to act on it for the good of people moving forward?
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I think we can all definitely ask more questions. That's one thing that I love about being a coach is it's asking questions. It's breaking things down and really increasing your awareness around your choices and your action or your inaction. You know, and I am a speak to think girl. And so when people provide a space for me to talk things out, I say things that I've never thought before, right? Because I speak to think. So it's really, I just love it. I love being able to have that space to just talk things out and allow myself that time to process the information. And so I also love to provide that space for others.
And I think we do that sometimes to fulfill the need for connection and all of these other things. I think it's important to remind yourself what need is it meeting in you, and is it helping you to stay in the present fully, or is this reaffirming a comfort zone that you had from the past?
I like that.
Yeah. Taking it even deeper. Yeah. Awesome. So if there was one thing that you wanted our listeners to come away with about present moment and intuition, what would it be?
That intuition is designed in the present moment for you to live in a full and vibrant, enjoyable life. And if you've anchored in that you can only use intuition to survive instead of thrive, you get the opportunity moving forward to be fully present and allow yourself to enjoy listening to your intuition, to be able to live vibrantly and beautifully in this life moving forward.
Awesome. Yeah, I think everything good happens in the present moment, right? Like,
right.
Those awarenesses of how beautiful something is, or how blessed you are, how excited you are, right? And I think also when we anchor those moments, they can propel us forward to continually seek after moments like that. And so I think that our past and our future and our present can definitely work together in a proactive way. But it's being mindful of how we're doing it.
And expressing gratitude when you have that intuition come through. I'm so happy and grateful that my intuition is here to protect me, but also to serve me and to help me serve others. Let acknowledgement that what I have is okay and it's good and it can be used for good is a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Jessica, so much for being on the show with us tonight. We'd love to provide this time for you to share your contact information, anything that you would want our listeners to know about what it is that you offer.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for having me. I've enjoyed the conversation for sure. I currently work with women right now on doing identity breakthrough coaching, and we have a program called the Love Bubble. It's a 6-month coaching program to really look at trauma and pain of the past and how it disrupted you from your current state, and what do you want to let go of, what do you want to heal, and who is the woman of the future so you can nourish and embrace her moving forward. And we do this by looking at your love trauma, your money trauma, and your purpose trauma. And so depending on where you really feel that your biggest constriction is, that's kind of how I work with individuals. And so we focus on, anchoring in new beliefs, affirmations, and we connect the heart, soul, and body in that space. So my Love Bubble is my current program, but you can find me on my website, www.vibrantvoice.life. I'm on Facebook as Vibrant Voice by Jessica is the business page. And then I'm also on Instagram as Jessica Vibrant Hammock, and constantly have new content and reels and new opportunities to just ask questions and get to know individuals. I have a 6-week program launching soon called Healing Your Money Trauma Wounds, where we'll take a deep dive into the 16 different money traumas and what you can do to rewrite the money story that you have.
Awesome. All sounds like good stuff. Please do go into the Facebook group, Get Fearless at Any Age with Fearless Generations, and put any links there to your website, social media links, whatever you would like, so that people can get easy one-click access to you.
Sure.
Awesome. I look forward to seeing it there. Terry, any last words that you would like to share on intuition?
Yeah, the last thing that she said was what I was thinking, and that's the practice or the tool of gratitude. When we're aware that we are receiving intuitive, I call them intuitive hits, and then we can be grateful for those, and we can follow through with those, and then acknowledge ourselves for being in a position, in a space that we can receive that. And that, to me, is something to be grateful for and something to acknowledge ourselves for as well. So she sort of said that towards the end of her definition, and that's exactly what I was thinking. So I just want to emphasize the importance of gratitude and acknowledgement.
Yeah, love that. Thank you, Terry. And thank you again, Jessica. We loved having you here, and please come back anytime. We want to remind you that the 12 steps to We want to remind you that the 12 steps to freedom were created by Rhonda Britton, the CEO and founder of the Fearless Living Institute. If you would like to know more about Fearless Living, please go check it out at fearlessliving.org. There is all kinds of great information there for you. You can find Terry and I at fearlessgenerations.org. You can find past episodes to the podcast there, past guest coaches we've had on the show. You can find out about the workshops that we do every month, introducing what is fear, and you can also get information on our retreat that we're doing in September that you definitely want to be a part of. So go check out fearlessgenerations.org. We're also on social media. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook as Fearless Generations. And as I said earlier, our Facebook group is Get Fearless at Any Age with Fearless Generations. I know it's long, but you should be able to find us pretty easily. And we are always here to support and answer questions and share tools. That's one thing that Terry and I love to do, is give you something you can do, and not just tell you this would be great for you to do and leave you at that, but we tell you this would be great for you to do and this is how you do it. So we love sharing tools. So thank you for being here with us tonight. We'll see you next week, and until then, be fearless.
Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Night.
Good night.